What's going on, guys? Zach here from iTrendz. Today we're going to be going over how to identify take profit levels on stocks. As you can see, the video is right there. I was just editing it. In the middle of the video, we actually do a 3 to 4 minute segment on our profit management strategy as well. So we go pretty deep into it with some live examples as well. We go real in depth with it in this video. So I'm going to take you right into the charts right now.
So let's get right into it. Basically, today we are looking at take profit levels and how to identify take profit levels, right? Right now we're starting on SPY, the S&P 500, but first we need to kind of bring it back a second and actually understand what a take profit level even is. A take profit level is a level that you set on a stock for you to take profits. It seems very simple, but that's exactly what it is. So let's just say you had a stock moving up, right? And this is kind of wonky. Stock would move like that. But let's say you had a stock moving up and you had positions in this lower area, longs, and you don't know where to take profits, right? So that's what we're trying to identify. Are you going to take profits here? You're going to take profits here, 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 here. Where are you going to take profits in there, right? That's what we're trying to identify. So first, we really need to ask ourselves, what type of trade is it? Is it a scalp trade? Is it a day trade? Is it a swing trade, right? A scalp is a very, very quick trade, a couple seconds to a couple minutes. A day trade is a few minutes, say 5 minutes to maybe a few hours. Swing trading is going to be much longer, where you're actually going to take that position overnight. So that's what we're going to be paying attention to today. That's the first question that you always want to ask yourself is, what type of trade am I in, right? So you have to set that precedent. A lot of times, in iTrendz, we do a lot of day trading and scalp trading. That's just how a lot of us trade here in the group. So for the most part, when we're setting our take profits, we're setting our take profits on day trades, right? It looks a little bit different for a swing trade. So first we're going to take on a day trade, and then we're going to actually look at a swing trade. But before we get right into the charts here, right into an example, we need to know what our second and third questions that we have to ask ourselves. So the first is what type of trade it is, right? We need to identify that. The second is that we have to identify our most recent, or in other words, our most relevant support and resistance levels. And then third, lastly, you need to apply your profit management system. So we have a profit management system here at iTrendz. We call it the iTrendz 4-to-1, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's get an example here. Let's just kind of zoom here and let's just identify. Let's just go to a random level in August now. So we're back in the beginning of August. Now, what we want to do first is we want to identify what type of trade we're looking for. Well, I'm going to be looking for a day trade. The reason I'm going to be looking for a day trade is because I'm primarily a day trader. So that's what we're going to be looking for. Let's just write this down. So what trade are we looking for? Well, we're looking for a day trade, right? So we're going to be looking for recent, I should say, relatively recent structures inside of the market for our take profit levels, because this is going to occur over the day. So we don't want to be targeting, say if we took shorts out here at 416, we're not going to be targeting 405 because it's not going to move 10 points in a day every single day. It might happen every now and again where it moves 10 points in a day. But for the most part, SPY isn't going to do that type of vicious movement like that. So what we want to consider is the most recent, the most relevant support and resistances. So what we've identified here is our supply zone. So let's just mark this as our supply zone, in which interested in shorting. So we're interested in shorting. This is our supply zone. Let's change the color here. And let's just remember that. So we're interested in shorting off of this supply zone right here, right? So we've got our trade. So we're interested in entering shorts at this level here and then taking it back down. The question is where are we taking it back down to, right? That's what we're trying to identify. Where are our take profit levels? If you can't identify any take profit levels on the hourly, maybe try going out and zooming out just a little bit to see if you can see some take profit. And again, what are we looking for? So we're looking for relevant and recent support and resistance levels. So let's just start marking up the chart here. One, we can see that there's an easy, obvious resistance level right here, right? So resistance we broke out of it, became support, kind of broke down before it, and we looked like we launched off of it, gapped up overnight, right? So this is a resistance area right here that we can identify. Let's just go down. Let's see if we can identify some support areas. If we look over here to the left on the chart, if you watched our previous video, right, always look left. Watch our video on support and resistances. If you haven't seen that already, I highly recommend that you watch that. It's the precursor to this video where you learn how to identify support and resistance levels. We're not going to really go over that in this video here. So here is another area of support and resistance, right? Now it's support because we're above it. But this area right here, we saw lots and lots of support here, support, and we broke through, right? Previously, we saw it was resistance, and support over here. And then over here, we see it again, and we break through, Here's support, support bouncing off again, and now we're above it. So it's still support, but we need to identify these levels on the way down. So we need to be able to mark these up, be able to identify them, and see where our potential take profits on any type of trade is going to be. Now, again, if you're looking for a move from 414 to 400, that's going to take quite a few days, just like it took quite a few days to go from 400 to 411. Does that make sense? If you're going reverse, it's not like it's going to happen much quicker. It might happen at a slightly rapid rate if you get some selling pressure added into the market, given that we are in a bear market. But my point being here is that it's going to take a few days to get back down to this 400 level. So on a day trade in which we're taking a day trade, we're not going to be looking to exit a trade at this level. It's just not going to happen. So we need to focus a little bit higher, right? We've got our lower level, this 407. If we had a really, really bad day in the market, we could see ourselves coming back down to this level. But we've identified one most recent support underneath us here at 413, about $1.50 or $1.85 below where we're at right now. So to identify more levels, we might need to go back down to the 5-minute and actually go a little bit lower here. We're going to be looking for areas of consolidation, right? Little tip, we're going to be looking for areas of consolidation to identify our support and resistance levels, and more importantly, our most relevant support and resistance levels. So if we're looking at this chart and we're taking shorts inside of our supply, right, and we're looking to take it back down, well, where are we going to see some buying pressure? One, we're going to see some buying pressure right here, right? This is the most recent area of support. This is after hours, so it's a little difficult to see, but if you couldn't see it and you didn't look left, here's an area of resistance over here. Resistance, 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 right? Resistance, resistance. So this is an area of resistance right here. So on the way down, we should expect some buying pressure to come in here. But granted, one thing that's really important right here to identify is that we have this big gap. So what happens in gaps? Well, you might know this already, you might not. If you didn't know, but gaps are great areas to trade in because there's actually a lack of volume inside of the gaps. So if you're, say, selling back down through a gap, you're likely to move very quickly down through this gap right here because there's a lack of orders. So the seller is going to have an easier time bringing the stock back down, right? But then once you come back down to this level, which we did mark this 413, we did mark this level. Once you come back down to this level, you have to expect a lot of buying pressure because that's where all the buys started on this gap up. So what do you expect when you come back down? More buys to be sitting in that area, correct? And that works vice versa as well. When you're going back up to the upside and you're filling gaps on the upside that were previously gapped to the left of the chart. So anyway, let's keep moving forward here. So we've identified TP1, right? This would be your TP1. If we have shorts inside this area is TP1. So let's just label this TP1, right? And so right now we haven't even entered the trade yet. We're just planning out our trade, right? So let's identify another area of support and resistance. You might want to take some profits here as well. Why do I say that? Well, you had big resistance right here, right? And we couldn't get above it the rest of the day here. Big sellers are located right here. So on the way back down, you have to assume that big buyers might be located in here as well. As you're moving through the gap, it might be a quicker move as we just spoke about, but you want to be mindful of this area for buyers because if you're taking a day trade and you just took SPY from 416, it's at 2 points down, you're going to be well into green. You're going to be plus 60, plus 70, maybe even depending on how close of a contract you have, you might be 100+% on this contract. So you want to be taking profits. You don't want to be just holding on to the whole bag here. You want to be scaling out of your position as you're getting green to kind of take some of that stress off, right? And we'll again get into that profit management system, the iTrendz 4-to-1 here in a second. Our last take profit on the day is we're going to label it at the bottom of this gap. And if we are to break underneath this gap, it's going to be for runners contracts, which is going to be the last 25% of our total position size, or we're going to just reset, wait for a little bit of bounce to come in, wait for it to break this level, wait for it to retest, and then take shorts with a higher conviction at that level if that does occur. This is going to be TP3. We skipped around here, sorry. Right here, and then let's do take profit TP2, sorry. Take profit 2. All right, so we have our 3 levels of take profit. So this is great. Let's zoom back out again. So if we come back to here to see what we have to do, first we have to identify what type of trade it is. We identified what type of trade we're taking. We're taking a day trade, right? We had identified our entry point. We identified our exit points, our real take profit levels by utilizing support and resistances, our most relevant and recent support and resistances for our take profit levels. Then third, apply your profit management system, right? So this is the profit management system that I spoke about in the beginning, the iTrendz 4-to-1. Here at iTrendz, we do have a profit management system. It's called the iTrendz 4-to-1. It incorporates taking profits along the way as your play is progressing. So as you're getting greener and greener and greener, you're taking some profits off the table, fill your pockets first, and then leave some on the table so that you can see that extensive gains, and you can almost ride it risk-free, right? We like to make it risk-free, like to pay for the runners, because if your runners are free, then you could see that thing go to 7. You could see it go to 9. You could see it go to 10, right? It's a lot different. Whereas if you have the whole bag, it gets riskier and riskier and riskier to hold it the entire way, because the stock isn't just going to go up forever. Eventually, it's going to come back down to equilibrium, or in other words, more like 2 to 3 on that chart, right? Going back to our profit management system, we have a profit management system called iTrendz 4-to-1. We also have a video dropping on that very, very soon. So be free to check that out when it does drop. Should drop in the next few days. But basically, it's utilizing 4-to-1. So we take 4 different cuts. In the 4-to-1, we have designed it so that you take your first quarter profits at anywhere from 25 to 30 or 20 to 30% on your trade, right? You take your second set of profits, or your next 25% of your profits, and anywhere from, say, 35 to 45% on your trade. You take your third set of profits and anywhere from 55 to 65% of your trade, and then you let the fourth quarter, we call those the runners, we let the runners go, and those ones can go and go and go. But the point is we've de-risked ourselves. We've taken profit off the table, put it in our pockets. We've secured profit, and we let the runners run. And so we can see exponential gains. I think you guys understand my point here. You're taking some profits off the table. And in doing so, for a lot of newer traders, and even traders that are seasoned traders, but just might have a smaller account, it's really, it takes the stress off your shoulders. It takes the stress off your shoulders knowing that you've put the profits that you just from that great trade that you just put on back into your pockets, and you're letting some runners risk-free run, right? So hopefully that makes sense. That's our profit management system at iTrendz. iTrendz 4-to-1 is a really, really great system. Again, we've got a video coming out on that in a few days. Feel free to implement that into your trading system. It has greatly improved my trading system, that's for sure. So one thing I do want to say about your profit management system is that this is the way that I look at it. If the stock level is hit, I take my profits. If the first stock level is not hit, but it's at 25%, I'm taking my first quarter of the trade off the table. And then say we get towards the second take profit in that same scenario, and I've already hit 35, 45%, I'm taking my second quarter off the table. So I adhere to my iTrendz 4-to-1 rules if the take profits haven't been hit yet. The reason I do that is because it helps protect my capital. That's what I'm interested in doing, is protecting my capital. However, if it hits that take profit and say I'm only at 12% on the contract, then I'm taking my profits because I set that take profit. So the take profit takes precedence if you hit it. And if you haven't hit the take profit yet, the iTrendz 4-to-1 profit management system takes precedence. This is for me. Make it make sense for you. This is for me. So anyway, we've identified our first take profit, our second take profit, and our third take profit. And now we wait to enter our shorts and allow the trade to play out. So let's just see what goes on in the next few candles here. Okay, into our supply zone. We've loaded our shorts right here. Okay, coming down, we're kind of fiddling. Okay, first take profit, second take profit. Oh, third take profit, fourth. Okay, dude, we just had a freaking banger. Can you see that? That's amazing. So we loaded our shorts up in this area. Our first take profit came about, I mean, if this is the 5-minute chart, say about 25 minutes later. 25 minutes later, our first take profit hit. Boom. Take your profits out of the table right there. And if the 25% gain on the contracts came before the first take profit, then I'm taking 25% of my position off the table. Remember, I adhere to that profit management rule first if I don't hit that take profit. And then on the reverse side, if it's only 12% on the contracts at this first take profit level, I'm taking 25% of my position off the table. That's just how I roll. As you can see right here, let's zoom in a bit, just extended these. So as you can see here, we hit our first take profit, and then we fell to our second take profit, and we had a nice back test of our first take profit, which literally tells us, it lets us know this back test right here, this retest of this level, this stock trying to either break or fail this level. A failure of this level confirms that we're going to go continue to see lower. We break these lows, gives extra confirmation to see our next take profit levels, right? So just by seeing this retest here, you know that we correctly, just right now, identify this first take profit level. Correct. It's absolutely correct. So broke this first take profit level, came to our second, hit our second take profit. You take profits there, a nice bounce back up to retest, That's great. We have a failure here. We're still in 50% of our position at this point because you take 25% off. You take 25% off. Boom. On the way back down, you come back down, break your take profit your take profit 2 level, come to your take profit 3. At this point in the trade right here, I'm probably all out because this is a very big move from 417 to 413, $4 on SPY. That's a pretty big move. As you can see, we gapped up that much and then did a little extra here in pre-market. So we want to make sure that we're securing our profits. For the most part, I'm probably out of my position here. If it re-breaks the lows, then I missed out on some extra. I missed out on some extra take profits. But me being a little bit more conservative in my trading and I like to protect my capital, I probably would be all out of this trade right here. Just look for a retracement back up to this take profit levels. And if I'm liking the structure at that point, I might re-enter for a short and re-identify some take profit levels. But anyway, let's move on to our next example here. So let's go to AMD. So on AMD, let's find a bullish setup here. We're gonna find this bullish setup. We're gonna zoom into this bullish setup here. So at this point in time, this is October of 2021. So at this point in time, we were still bullish in the market. We're actually still seeing good gains in the market. You can see that AMD's at 112 here, and it ended up going to like 150 or, if I'm not mistaken, 146. So first, we have to identify what type of trade this is. So what type of trade is this going to be? Well, let's just identify a swing trade. Because we did a day trade before, let's do a swing trade this time. So this is going to be a swing trade that we're going to be identifying TP levels for. So what we have here is a little bit of a flag staircase up pattern that we've got going on in the most recent price action, right? Before that, we've got this nice push up, consolidation, continue push up. Okay, so just by the looks of it, we can see that we might be able to continue up. You can see that we've got this big level right here that we're actually sitting at in after hours at this point in time. Big level of resistance right here. We definitely want to see the stock break that. But we're going to be putting on a swing trade on AMD. And what we're going to be doing more specifically is we're going to be putting on a bullish swing trade here. So this is really interesting to see. So let's start marking up levels. Well, first of all, this is a big area of resistance here. So I'm just going to mark this big area of resistance, right? We're looking for recent relevant support and resistance levels. So this is another area of resistance here. I want to make note that this is your most recent previous high right here, right? So you have your resistance zone that you're pretty much sitting in right now. So you have your previous high all the way up here. So your swing target right now is going to be in a couple chunks. First of all, if I were to take this long swing right here, I'd have a few take profit levels. One, I'd be looking to enter, let's make this color different here. I'd be looking to enter above this green zone at 114. The reason being is because I want to see the stock. Yeah, we've seen nice greens right here. Nice greens, good continuation. I want to see the stock enter up, I want to see the stock break above this green level here at 113.50. My first take profit is going to immediately come at this 115. So let's mark this 115. Next take profit is 117, and next take profit is 122. You might be asking, so when we're looking for take profits on a swing trade, you have to look at the structure. You have to look at what was your most recent low, what was your most recent previous high, right? You don't want the stock to fall below any levels. So I'm interested in taking any position. If we retrace back down to this level, this 108, I'm very interested in taking it long, in which this 113 will become my first take profit level. But if we're not going to retrace back to this level down to 108, and we're actually going to hold this 113.50, I'm interested in taking it long above here and seeing a few day extension back up to these levels here, right? Let's look at the 4 hour just to confirm. Looking like some nice patterns right here. You got a big W forming. Man, I would really like us to come back down to this 108.40, but I don't know if we're going to come all the way back down to 108.40 before we see something like 117. And at that point, the swing is going to be too late, right? This is like real time. I'm literally analyzing this as if I could take this trade tomorrow, right? Inside of a bull market of October 2021. So this is kind of special right now. I'm literally looking at this like as if I was going to take a trade. This is what I'm looking at. Also, I'm noticing that on this 4 hour here, you see a big wick. That's good to see because this area might be less of a resistance as previously thought here. So basically what I'm thinking is that we're going to get our entry inside of this 113.40. We're going to have our first take profit at this 116, 115 area. Then we're going to have our second take profit inside of this 116.84 to 117. And then final take profit is going to be this 122. Excuse me. So, all right. So now I dropped down to the 1 hour. Sorry, I just had an issue. I tried to drop down to the 5 minute for entries, but apparently it won't load this type of data this far back. So anyway, we're going to be looking at this on the hourly, this swing trade on the hourly. Although, however, if I had it my way, I would be taking my entries on the 15-minute or the 5-minute to pinpoint my exact entry that I want, and then watch it on the hourly and let it do its thing. So first off, what we're looking for, just to recap, right? We're entering a swing trade. We've identified our most recent price action areas, or our resistances and our supports, and we've identified our take profits. And then obviously we have our profit management system, the iTrendz 4-to-1. So let's see. Let's take an entry on this trade. Let's start it up. All right. So we're going to be taking our entries on the 1 hour. I just tried to go to the 5-minute, but I had an issue, a technical difficulty. Apparently, you can't load this far back of data on the 5-minute, unfortunately. But if I were to take this swing trade, I would actually be looking to enter on the 5-minute or 15-minute so I can get a pinpoint accuracy entry on my position, and then to be watching the position on the hourly here, and we take the swing trade all the way through to our take profits. And of course, now what we've done is we've identified what type of trade we're in. We're in a swing trade, what our most recent areas of support and resistance are, and then of course we're going to apply our profit management system, the iTrendz 4-to-1, and then we are going to have hopefully a successful trade on our hands here. So let's watch it play out. We'll pull back here. This is the hourly time frame again. Okay, so we rejected this level, so we don't have an entry yet. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So first, wow, this is going quick. So we just broke above this 113, so we got our confirmation above this level. We even had a little bit of a back test here. You can see on the hourly, a little bit of a wick back test confirmation. So we've already entered our trade. I know that came really quickly. I'm sorry. We already entered our trade here at 113, and our first take profit has already been hit at 115.31. So we've secured 25% of the position, and we're going to continue holding that position out here. Okay, we hit our zone right here. We hit the bottom of our zone. At this point in time, I would be given that it's the end of the day, we had a big push like this, I would actually be very interested in taking a big portion of or another 25% of the position off of the table here, and taking our profits off the table, allowing us to potentially see this 122.25 if we could actually see that, right? So far we've taken 50% of the position off the table. We're going into the overnight session where we have no control. So we might actually have a little bit of a pullback here and a continuation. Hopefully we can actually see that 122.25 area for take profits. Okay, a little bit of a pullback here. Perfect. Do you guys see what I mean? The same exact thing happened where we identified a take profit level. It broke through it, and then it came back and perfectly retested that take profit level. That's how you know you've identified a proper area of support or resistance. In this case, it's being used as support. Let's see if we come all the way back down to our entry here. I don't think so, though. Okay, we had that big push it open. Let's see, we're back testing this level here. Okay, nice. We're a lot of consolidating over these days. Okay, so we big push at open here. So this open on the New York session is looking great. We're at the top of our second take profit zone right here. We have our third one not very far behind, given that we pushed up a lot open market, or pre-market, excuse me, and we're above this take profit level. We might see a little bit of consolidation, but we have a very good chance of hitting that top level. We're at least going to hit the bottom of 120.75 here. Let's continue to watch. A little bit of a pullback, confirming this flag right here before blast off. I'm thinking, yes, sir. Look at that. And then after hours, let's see where we open up. Ooh, that was a big sell-off, huh? Wow. A little bit of a back test here. It looks like we're going to make our way back down to this 117 now. All right, I think at this point you guys have learned that I could probably watch the tape play back for a lot. I could literally watch this entire trade play over. I do want to say one thing here though. If we were getting a little greedy in this position, we could have had too much chop, right? So our third take profit was hit in the overnight session. There's really not much that we can do about that. Unfortunately, we're not able to exit our contracts overnight. So it did hit that third take profit level. Honestly, at this first open, I probably would have relinquished a majority of my position and just kept a couple runners for a potential of a break. As you can see, we actually have a double rejection right here, looking like we're going to break this neckline and come potentially all the way back down to this 115 to 116 area. Let's see. Let's just watch the tape. Man, this is bad. I could do this all the whole time. Oh, wow. I was completely wrong. Wow, look at that. AMD was super bullish at this time. So we ended up actually getting our third take profit in this level. If you're watching it real time, maybe things would have looked a little bit different, I guess. So anyway, this has been Zach with iTrendz. Hopefully this is making a lot of sense to you guys on how to identify your take profit levels, right? We always want to first identify what type of trade it is, right? Is it a scalp trade, a day trade, or a swing trade? And then after that, we want to identify our most recent and relevant price action, or in other words, we want to identify relevant support and resistance levels. And then after that, we want to apply our profit management system and have the two coincide and coexist together. Taking profits at your take profit levels on the stock, but also making sure that you're paying attention to your profit on the contract, your percentage profit, and taking your regular percentage profits that you do every single time with your profit management system. Again, we'll have that iTrendz 4-to-1 video out very, very soon. Feel free to check out the links in the description for more from us, and I will see you in the next video.